Yes, on the issue of regulation risk, historically in the Philippines, what is the ERC's record of disappointing investors by not strictly following the calculation for the map? And how have you taken that into consideration?
The ERC follows a methodology for calculating the map. Now, this methodology follows a regulatory scheme where they compute a return on capital based on the regulatory WACC, plus which is multiplied the regulatory asset base, which creates the return on capital. Next, added to that is the company's proposed capital expenditures, operating expenses, and then other expenses. All of these added together will create the annual revenue requirement. Now, divided from this is the expected sales volume of Meralco, which will create a tariff rate. Now, historically, between Meralco and the ERC, as well as other public distribution companies, the ERC has bilateral agreements, talks with public utilities to make sure that their projected figures will be in the same line. So, in this sense, the ERC is able to create a final decision that takes into account both the public utilities view as well as the regulatory company.
Ever since the implementation of the performance-based regulation scheme in 2004, the ERC has been faithful in complying with the computations of the maximum average price. However, there are certain adjustments to be able to compensate for inflation and performance incentives. The ERC every year adjusts the maximum average price to be able to compute the maximum average price for the next year, and it follows the same procedure for every year.
Now, we would also add that we agree that there is strong regulatory risk for the company. As such, we created a sensitivity analysis to make sure that our valuations are in line. As you can see, it will require a 30% decline in the map for Meralco to change our recommendation, and an even further decrease to change our recommendation to a sell.
How transparent is the company? Have you looked at the governance standards of the company?
We believe that Meralco's corporate governance is top-notch. Meralco has been awarded its third straight title as Asia's Icon on Corporate Governance by Corporate Governance Asia. The same body has also awarded Meralco's outstanding directors, such as its chairman, Manuel V. Pangilinan, and its president and CEO, Oscar S. Reyes. Corporate Governance Asia has also awarded some of Meralco's corporate officers, namely Mr. Rafael Andrada as a Best Investor Relations Professional in the Philippines and Best Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Betty C. Yap. In addition, the Philippines has also recognized Meralco's top-notch corporate governance. The Philippine Stock Exchange has given Meralco the PSE Bell Awards, which reinforces Meralco's top-notch governance in the Philippines. With this, we can see that Meralco's corporate governance is not only one of the best in the Philippines, but also in the Asian region.
Their main business is distribution at the moment. How do they get their electricity? What are the long-term contracts with power plants in the Philippines? And what are these power plants based on? How do they produce electricity? Is it coal, gas, nuclear, others?
Electricity in the Philippines is contracted between the distributor and the power generator. Now, these are negotiated through bilateral contracts that expire every 7 years. Now, we can see based on our slide, the different sources of energy where Meralco contracts. And as we mentioned, majority actually comes from power supply agreements or these bilateral contracts. Now, looking at the Philippines energy mix, we can see that majority of the Philippines energy is actually sourced on coal. However, it must be noted that the Philippines is actually facing a looming power supply-demand gap, which is expected to kick in as early as 2016. In order to mitigate this, Meralco actually proposes both a short and a long-term solution. For the short term, it plans to develop 1,000 megawatts of clean coal technology, given the relatively low cost of this fuel and the ease to set up these plants. Now, for the long term, it plans to develop 1,500 megawatts of liquefied natural gas power plant in order to ensure a cleaner and more stable source of energy. Now, these plants included in our valuation only account for 33% of its target portfolio. We expect that once the 3,000 megawatt portfolio comes fully online, we can expect that this will add value, further value to the company. Currently, its power generation business will add 90 pesos and 40 centavos.
40% upside for any utility, even a growth utility, is significant. Your presentation didn't have any review of historical share price performance. Was there a reason for that? And does the historical performance of the company tell you anything about the way you're projecting going forward?
By looking at the long-term stock growth of the company, we can see that the company actually mostly follows the Philippine Stock Exchange for slight aberrations during the past years, like in 2009, as well as in the current period. Now, if you will further see that in this graph, that Meralco stock price actually shooted up in 2009 to 300 pesos. This was due to a price war between strong major shareholders of the company. From this, we can see that there is strong potential for the company. From a low of 80 in 2008, it went up to 300 in 2009. Now, this shows the company's strong growth potential and the company's stockholders' strong confidence in the potential of the company.
Now, we believe that the target price of the company will be attained in a span of 1 year. We believe that currently it is low right now because the market has not yet fully priced in the value of the power generation business, and there are uncertainties and issues which the company face in the current period.
So to discuss further on power generation, we believe that the market has yet to fully price this in, given first the complexity of valuing this investment and the staggered nature of the implementation of these plants. However, by 2014, we can expect that Meralco will receive an income contribution from plants that are already online, namely Global Business Power and Pacific Light Power. We believe that once the market is able to successfully appreciate the viability of this investment, we can expect investor confidence to grow and the stock price to move towards our target price.
Now, to add to that, there is an uncertainty that keeps the price of Meralco low. Specifically, this is the current rate rebasing period that Meralco faces. In the Philippines, the tariff rates of a distribution utility is computed every 4 years. Now, because of a decreasing interest rate environment, there is a general expectation that Meralco's tariff rates will decrease in the future.
Following the prescribed methodology of the ERC, we in fact have computed a lower tariff rate for the company compared to the previous regulatory period. Imputing these lower tariff rates in our valuation still led us to an attractive valuation for the company stock of 397 pesos and 40 centavos.
If you would mind putting back the chart with the stock, how it performed since 2008, I think I saw that your target price was achieved, that spike